The FBI was leaking information to the media, lies about Trump and people working with Trump, then took the articles that they had provided, essentially, to the media and put them in the FOIA request. Look at this, we have evidence. Now that is pretty sick. What Durham has done, and it's very, very important, is he's conducted an independent investigation. And here's his findings. And they're very, very serious. He's not a Republican, he's not a Democrat, he's a career prosecutor. You know, he's one of those career prosecutors who takes his job seriously. Impartiality. And he looked at this situation and he was appalled. And by the way, as a side point, he prosecutes 2 people and loses in the District of Columbia. The lesson there is, if you're Trump, you can't get a fair trial. If you're associated with Trump, you can't get a fair trial in these cities. But if you're against Trump, you're going to be cleared. It's that simple. And also at the Department of Justice and the FBI, well, if you're a Democrat, you're going to be treated one way and a Republican another way. Now, how do we know this? Because Durham underscores the point in a very significant way. First, let's begin with the report. The FBI had no information at all indicating that at any time during the campaign, Donald Trump or anyone in the campaign had been in contact with any Russian intelligence officials. None whatsoever. 0. So what's the point of this thing? There was no legal point, no legitimate point. What else? He said the U.S. government, I quote from his report, possessed no verifiable evidence, no intelligence, none, reflecting that Trump or the Trump campaign was involved in a conspiracy or a collaborative relationship with officials of the Russian government. In fact, Durham says, and I cite this from the Federalist, Australian diplomats told FBI officials that Papadopoulos, quote, never stated that he had direct contact with Russians, nor did he provide any explicit information about an offer of assistance. But that didn't matter to the FBI, which officially began targeting Trump on July 31, 2016, 3 days after it received the report from Down Under. So there's this bar event where these Australian diplomats are talking to Papadopoulos, and that's what they based their investigation on. And Durham is saying there was nothing to it. 0. But you see, McCabe and Strzok and the others, it didn't matter to them because they were Democrats out to get Trump. What else? Although the Counterintelligence Division did eventually seek information about Papadopoulos, the office found no indications from witness testimony, electronic communications, emails, calendar entries, or other documentation that, at the time, the FBI gave any consideration to the actual trustworthiness of the information the diplomats received from Papadopoulos. None. Okay, what else? Durham says the FBI not only excluded key exculpatory information, but also, quote, failed to pursue investigative leads that were inconsistent with their theory of the case. What else? The FBI was able to spy on Page. Remember Mr. Page? Page was the guy who they set up with the FISA warrants. A U.S. citizen, because it used the completely, quote, completely unvetted and uncorroborated, unquote, Steele dossier as the basis for its flawed FISA application. And you might recall the FBI lawyer actually changed an email that he got from intelligence completely 100% and used that in the FISA application for the warrant. And that individual, by a federal judge in Washington, D.C., was slapped on the hand, suspended for a period of time, did not lose his license, and didn't spend 1 second in prison. Now think about that. Think about that. You lie to a court to get a warrant against an American citizen. You literally change the document, and you don't do a minute in prison. It's unbelievable. Not only did the FBI take Steele's shaky word as fact, that is the dossier, but investigators never questioned him about his leak to Yahoo News, which essentially accused Carter Page of colluding with Russians. Instead, investigators demonstrated a willingness to contort The plain language, this is from the report, of the article to suggest it was not Steele, but Steele's employers who'd given information to then Michael Isikoff, a reporter. You understand that the FBI was leaking information to the media. Lies about Trump and people working with Trump. Then took the articles that they had provided, essentially, to the media and put them in the FOIA request. Look at this, we have evidence. Now that is pretty sick, I would argue. Let me give you a little bit more information while we're going through this. What about the Clinton Foundation? Some FBI agents, more field agents, they raised a question about the Clinton Foundation taking foreign monies and soliciting foreign monies. Illegal foreign contributions also to the Clinton campaign, open and notorious. So what did Durham find? He found, according to the FBI, in early 2016, the Clinton campaign was fully aware and okay with a foreign contribution in violation of federal law. The FBI didn't get receipts and they asked the source to stay away from the Clinton campaign. In fact, the FBI made no effort to investigate the Clinton campaign. This is the report. Their campaign's acceptance of an illegal campaign contribution that was made by the FBI's own long-term individual. The FBI puts a plan in, foreigner gives money to the Clinton campaign campaign's happy to take it. Carter Page FISA was submitted under intense pressure from FBI leadership. This is a big point. Comey kept pressing for a FISA counterintelligence warrant against Carter Page. FBI Director James Comey, in particular, wanted the Carter Page FISA badly. Comey to McCabe, where is the FISA? Where is the FISA? Quote unquote. FBI leadership was so concerned about what its agents were finding about the Steele memo that they ordered, quote, no more memos to be written, because they wanted to keep holding up the memo as a basis for going after Trump. And the agents were saying, well, we have problems with this. They were putting it in writing, and the leadership said, stop writing us. Do not, quote, document any recommendations, context, or analysis, unquote. So in other words, there was a cover-up. FBI Deputy Assistant Director for Counterintelligence, Dina Corsi, ordered the FBI team, quote, not to write any more memoranda or analytical pieces. You believe this? This is big stuff. This should be marquee headline news everywhere. But the New York Times last night said it was no big deal. We already knew all this. No, they didn't already know all this. Washington Post did exactly the same thing because they'd have to collect the Pulitzers and everything else that they handed to each other for reporting on a lie.
Want to see more? Sign up for Levin TV.